Central Pine Barrens of eastern Long Island's largest natural area. It's more than 106,000 acres of interconnected land and water ecosystems filled with beautiful nature trails and recreational opportunities.
But with so much territory and so many people living nearby and within its boundaries, it's a tremendous challenge to protect the spectacular natural resources of the Central Pine Barrens region. That is why the Commission's work is so important.
Protection of the Pine Barrens ecosystem.
Determination of the Pine Barrens Commission.
Important, but somewhat obscure. When most people think of the Pine Barrens, they think of these two clowns lost in the woods. Town of Brookhaven Supervisor Ed Romaine has been a Central Pine Barrens Commissioner for 10 years.
One of the things that I've enjoyed in the last few years as supervisor of Brookhaven Town is being a member of the Pine Barrens Commission, which was created by the state of New York, and that Long Island Pine Barrens Act has helped protect our unique and natural habitat. And it's difficult to overstate how important that is. Let me give you an example. 2 years ago, we had an applicant come in for 70 acres of land bifurcated by the Long Island Expressway, totally in the core, full of unique habitat that he wanted to build a 12-lot subdivision on. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it would have changed the character of this land forever. So the Pine Barrens Commission stepped up, and between them and the town of Brookhaven, we were able to acquire this land so it would never be developed, so its habitat would remain untouched and forever wild.
Neither the office nor the work is what some would consider glamorous.
Hey, Julie, what are you working on there?
Hey, Tim. I'm working on plan amendments. So the land use division ensures that land use in the Central Pine Barrens conforms with Article 57 and the land use plan. And the rules for development in the Pine Barrens are established in the land use plan for the core preservation area and the compatible growth area. So every 5 years, the Commission has the opportunity to review the land use plan for amendments. And currently, we're reviewing a set of amendments. Some of them are ministerial, such as word changes or the addition of terms to reflect the policy and practice of the Commission. And some are more substantive, and they address more substantive issues, such as adding a development of regional significance definition for development over 400,000 square feet for mixed-use projects.
It's actually more exciting than it sounds.
The credit program has been instrumental in protecting sensitive lands.
The credit program started around 25 years ago, and at the moment we have 1,000 parcels with conservation easements, and we do monitoring of the easement sites. Each year we add more parcels to the program, and I'm sorry, did I repeat?
While the primary focus of the Central Pine Barrens Commission as set forth in the Long Island Pine Barrens Protection Act is to guide regional land use to protect the diverse and unique ecological communities of the core preservation area and to facilitate compact and efficient development of the compatible growth area, the Commission's work has grown in the nearly 3 decades of its existence.
What's really interesting is that it's actually due to its great success in land use management. Its primary original mission that the Commission has so much more to protect in terms of the spectacular natural resources that make up this region. So as a necessary outcome of the Commission's effective land management, providing stewardship of the ecological treasures of these preserved lands has through the years become a more vital aspect of the Commission's work.
And this is where the Science and Stewardship Division enters the picture.
The Central Pine Barrens holds some of the highest level of biodiversity of rarity of any region in New York State. And the Science and Stewardship Division helps facilitate the protection of these environmental resources through active management, as well as advancing research and monitoring to better understand this globally rare ecosystem. This is particularly important, especially related to those forces that threaten the system, including the encroachment of invasive species, wildfire suppression, and the recent impacts of urbanization and climate change, especially as it relates to the recent arrival of the southern pine beetle. We ensured that the Central Pine Barrens is resilient to these threats and continues to be a region that these habitats and ecosystems can thrive, and our groundwater supply is recharged and cleansed. Taxpayers and our partners in government preserve this region for all to enjoy, and it's our job to make sure that this complex, disturbance-dependent ecosystem receives the proper stewardship.
Speaking of stewardship, fire is a vital part of maintaining the health of the Central Pine Barrens ecosystems. Strange as it sounds, in a real sense, you have to burn the Central Pine Barrens to protect it. And so another vital aspect of the Science and Stewardship Division's work is its prescribed fire management program.
Prescribed fire plays an enormous role in the stewardship of the Central Pine Barrens. These carefully managed fires reduce the risk of firefighters having to battle wildfires in the vicinity of homes and businesses by breaking up the fuel continuity and reducing the volume of forest vegetation available for wildfires to burn. It's a proven method of protecting homes adjacent to the forest, and there is also a tremendous benefit to forest health and biodiversity. Interagency coordination has always been central to the Commission's work, and our recently developed prescribed fire program will foster cooperative fire management with our surrounding partner agencies. To maximize our resources, the Commission's program will include just a small number of people using modern and efficient methods to conduct prescribed fires. The effort will be helped along by newly purchased state-of-the-art equipment perfectly suited to the task, such as these two utility terrain vehicles. Both have high-capacity pumps, 100-gallon tanks, more than 1,000 feet of fire hose, and sprayers that can be operated from the cab. When staffed up with 2 people, these force multiplier engines can do the work of 2 to 8.
Of course, with all these prescribed fires planned to help protect the Central Pine Barrens, we need a lot of trained wildland firefighters. Fortunately, the Commission plays a key role in leading one of the best training academies in the country, the New York Wildfire and Incident Management Academy, or NIWIMA.
NIWIMA was created as a result of the 1995 Sunrise Wildland fires. We hold many classes surrounded around wildland firefighting training and as well as incident management training. Our beginning courses as the Introduction to Wildland Firefighting Behavior, as well as our power source our wildland power source class, chainsaws, our portable pumps. All these classes prepare our people in the field to do their best as to protecting others as well as themselves in our local area here on the island and in the Pine Barrens, as well as the rest of the country.
We can take all these steps to protect this incredible natural resource, but forces outside our control can still despoil its treasures. The Central Pine Barrens covers a wide swath of land covering parts of 3 towns, and unfortunately, these lands have been subject to dumping, illegal building, and illicit vehicle use. And that's why the Central Pine Barrens Joint Planning and Policy Commission has a division dedicated to this important task.
Go ahead, what's the location of your complaint?
The Compliance and Enforcement Division helps to assure compliance with the laws that protect the Central Pine Barrens. We're well suited to that, having enforcement experience of well over 100 years collectively.
So over here were the remains of a large shed, a few half-filled bags of pesticides, some weed killer. Not the type of material you want to find in a sensitive environment. Somebody too lazy to dispose of it properly probably thought they were going to get away with it.
Not so fast. Our skilled investigators have at their disposal surveillance equipment and other technology to deter illegal dumping.
He was charged with a misdemeanor for littering on public property, a violation of Southampton Town Code, and also with violating the Suffolk County Code for operating a vehicle off-road. And so, to try to avoid a small fee to get rid of the debris legally, he was facing public embarrassment, substantial fines, and possibly even jail time.
The Enforcement Division maintains a strong cooperative relationship with all law enforcement agencies, and this is tremendously important in cracking down on illegal use of ATVs. ATVs and other 4x4 vehicles can tear up natural trails, destroy animal habitats, and pollute the environment.
Multi-agency coordination has led to well over 1,000 ATV impounds to date, an enormous success for the Central Pine Barrens Commission and its partners, and a boon to the environment. When an area of the Central Pine Barrens has been despoiled by an ATV, the damage is clear to see. But what is not visible, though just as important if not more, is the damage done by polluters to the underground aquifer that lies directly beneath this region.
We all depend on clean drinking water for survival, but the drinking water comes from the aquifer beneath where we live. Years ago, New York State enacted the Central Pine Barrens Act to protect that aquifer region. And the Pine Barrens Commission was also created to act as stewards for that aquifer area.
Since this vast drinking water supply is completely underground, it's easy to forget about, and that's why we have a communications division, which promotes the Commission's work. The Education and Outreach Division, meanwhile, conducts programs all year to educate the public about these incredible natural resources so they'll be more inclined to protect them.
The Central Pine Barrens Commission engages with many thousand Long Island residents annually. We're able to do this in a couple capacities. One is school programs. We provide education on topics such as Pine Barrens ecology, ecosystem studies, biodiversity, and climate change. And when we provide these opportunities, we're not just educating, we're exposing them to hands-on learning opportunities, which really makes a difference in the capacity of learning. And we also reach these residents via our outreach programs. If it's a festival, Pine Barrens Discovery Day, our Barrens to Bay Summer Camp, and our Day in the Life programs. So we feel fortunate that we're not able to just improve the knowledge base of our youth and adults here, as we're also able to showcase the unique special qualities of the Pine Barrens.
Hello.
What are you doing?
I'm catching bad guys.
What are you doing there?
Hey, getting ready for my school programs, getting my pulse in school.
A busy one today.
I'm a mechanic.
I think we collected like $30,000. I don't.
You're gonna die from paper.
No problem at all. We actually closed out. We just need a this is production right now for 420 years, but thank you.
It's a lot of work, but once natural resources such as the Central Pine Barrens are gone, they're gone for good. So everyone mentioned in this video, and many who aren't mentioned, have made it their life's work so Long Islanders, both current ones and their children and grandchildren, can forever enjoy its natural, agricultural, historical, cultural, and recreational resources.
So remember this beautiful resource. John, would you like to wrap this up?
Sure, Judy. So this beautiful resource, which is the Central Pine Barrens, what I like to call Long Island Central Park, is the culmination of countless effort by individuals and organizations that have worked for decades to preserve the area. And we now have it. It's ours forever, but we do have to maintain and be good stewards of it.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.